Oh.
Was you trying to make me cry in front of everybody, man?
Yeah, that's the point.
One word of advice. Buy TV, don't spend it on Hooker.
Super Russ. I'm the last character on my Justice League team with these four babes.
Oh, you did it.
Yeah. It takes a second on the phone to get the layout changed because they have to like go into more, and then you got another list of options.
I don't know how you do it.
I couldn't, for some reason, like on the shared videos, I don't have a play button on my end. It's weird.
Oh, yeah, because I got distracted because I got a notification that you're going live, and I was like, what? Why is it not playing? And then I noticed it was live for 20 seconds. I was like, oh.
What's up, David?
What is happening?
Not much, man. We're talking cartoons today for episode 63.
Yeah, you I think you misunderstood what I was saying when I said cartoons because you made the thumbnails like childhood cartoons.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, we can talk new and old.
Yeah, I guess just because I recently started watching Spawn, the HBO Spawn. Did you ever watch that?
I don't think I ever did, man.
Yeah, so I don't know when that would have been from. I'm gonna guess maybe early 2000s, maybe. I'm not sure if David, if you know when Spawn was out.
I remember the movie, but I don't remember ever seeing the animated.
Yeah, I saw the movie and I'd heard about the anime. Actually, I don't think I'd heard about the animated until I think there used to be this really, really cool image documentary on YouTube, and it's not there anymore. Like, I can't remember what it was called, but it was like a 5-part series. It was like every episode was about 20 minutes or so. And it was so good, man. When I first got into collecting comics, I watched it I reckon I watched it at least 3 times. And it was just about the history of Image Comics coming together from the beginning all the way through to like present with like Robert Kirkman, bringing out Walking Dead and stuff. But I think it was that where I heard about the Spawn animated series, and then people told me it was really, really good. So
I'm gonna have to look that up and see if I can find some YouTube clips.
Yeah, so it's on one of the streaming services we have here. So I started watching that. It's only I think it's only 6 episodes a season, and there's only 3 seasons. So it's pretty short. And I've never really read a lot of Spawn. In fact, before I started watching this show, I'd only read issue 1 of Spawn ever. Was in the same time. Yeah. Oh, did they do a Max? Oh, wait. I feel like I remember the Max cartoon. I feel like that I actually caught a little bit of back in the day.
I don't remember that one either, man.
I feel like I do remember.
I had a few of the Max comics, but I don't remember that animated either.
Yeah, the Max was out of control. But I don't ever remember Spawn being on TV back in the day. And it probably was. I probably just not at a time that I would have seen it. But I think the Max, I do remember. But yeah, so I just remember everyone who'd seen it was saying that the Spawn TV series is pretty good. And it's pretty full on, man. That's what I'm saying. It's definitely not a children's cartoon at all by any stretch. Because I don't know, you've read quite a bit of the Spawn comics, yeah?
Yeah, back in the day, I had around the first 30 issues or close to it, and I read those quite a lot as a kid.
Was the comic pretty full on back then? Like had a lot of adult
I remember
themes?
it was pretty violent, man. or it seemed that way because I was like, I don't know, 13, 14, 15.
Yeah.
So
But like,
at the time, it seemed like it was pretty violent.
were the
What's up,
criminals
Kenneth?
really like what's up, Kenneth? Were the criminals like really full on? Like, like I mean, they have like pedophiles and stuff like that. Like, that's pretty fun.
I don't really remember too much now, and
Yeah.
stuff like that probably wouldn't have even like registered like in my mind back then. So I wouldn't
So
like when you're little and you watch cartoons that have like adult jokes and you don't get them until like you grow up a little bit. Yeah.
Well, you remember stuff from this because there's like nudity and stuff in it, and it reminded me of like a '90s anime, like like an R-rated '90s anime. Like, I only watched the first season, but yeah, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it, and because I haven't really read Spawn, it made me have so many questions about Spawn. Like, is it just about him hanging out in the alleyways? 'Cause that's what it seemed to be about. Just he hangs out in the alleyways with all these like homeless bums.
Yeah.
Is that what it's about?
I've tried like most of the stuff that I remember, I think, is from the movie more than anything, because I honestly don't remember a lot about the comic now. And I think I've only got like issue 1 and issue 9 in the collection now of Spawn.
Well, they're the key books you want. So there's an episode where Angela shows up, right, in the cartoon series.
Really?
And it's so random because I was like, I knew that because I remember seeing the part that she's in something in a video I watched. It might have been that documentary. It's up to him. And yeah, there's this scene where she shows up and these criminals kind of lure her into an alleyway so they can rape her. And then she just kicks her ass, right? I'm saying really full on words here. I feel like the stream might get flagged here. And then she kicks her ass, and she goes into some place and says that she wants to, I think, kill Spawn. And the lady's like, "No, you're not ready," or something. And she's like saying, "Oh, I killed the Spawn Knight, whatever." So I didn't understand any of that. So I was like, "Wait a sec, is Angela like a bad person? Why did she want to kill Spawn?" I didn't understand. And then she didn't show up again for the whole season. There's just this one little bit that goes for like 2-3 minutes, and then that's it. You don't see her again. It was really weird. And I don't think you see her again in the whole show because I kind of went through season 2 and 3. I didn't watch them, but I just went through like the descriptions, and I didn't see them mention Angela again. I was like, what? It's so random
weird.
that she showed up for like 2 minutes.
I wonder if that's when Marvel bought the license to her and they pulled her off the show.
Surely not. Surely not. I ended up going and then reading issue 9 of Spawn to find out about her, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." So she's like an angel or something, right?
I think so. It's been forever since I read that issue again. Did they fight in that issue, Angela and Spawn?
Man, I read it like last week and I can't even remember. Yeah, because she's like going around with like the doesn't she fight like the Night Spawn, the Spawn that's in like the
I think the issue 9 is also the first medieval version of Spawn.
Yeah, medieval Spawn. There you go. Yeah. But yeah, it was all very interesting. So yeah, that's what inspired me to be like, hey, maybe we should talk cartoons. And you went childhood cartoons. I was like, whoa.
It didn't even pop in my head for like newer stuff because I haven't really watched any of the like. I haven't like watched like any of the newer like. I haven't seen any of that new Harley Quinn series. I've heard that was really good.
Yeah, it was good, and they've actually done season 3 as well, but I just haven't gotten around to it. It's weird. It is good. It is good. The season 2, like, it's actually got a story that kind of keeps progressing as well, sort of. It's not like a big story, but
yeah. I mean, I could change the thumbnail later and put like adult cartoons and do like a censored thumbnail. Maybe that will draw in more viewers to the replay. Then they'll tune in and be like, "Dude, he's talking about Tom and Jerry."
Yeah. Yeah, just have some like topless animation instead, and with censored like, adult cartoons. Harley Quinn blew my mind when I first watched the first episode, just because of the swearing. Like, it's still an odd concept to me to watch something animated where they swear.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess South Park.
Yeah, that like I remember like I watched a lot of Beavis and Butthead in my early teens.
They didn't swear, did they?
I'm pretty sure they did. Like not like heavy like all the time, but I think
I
there was
feel
like a
they didn't
few mixed in here and there because it was an MTV show.
Yeah. Um,
I don't remember
yeah,
if they dropped F-bombs or anything, but
no,
they
I
had
feel like
some words in there, I think.
maybe in the movie, maybe, but I feel like they wouldn't have done it on the TV show. Yeah, I remember watching Beavis and Butthead back in the day, and I think I would have appreciated it more later in life. Like I did go see the movie and I enjoyed the movie, but when I used to sometimes catch the show when I was younger, I think it was I don't know. I kind of liked the scenes where they were just talking in the couch, but I didn't really enjoy the music video parts as much when they were talking through the music videos. But now I think I'd really appreciate
Yeah.
what they talk about during the music videos. But yeah, Beavis and Butthead, that's definitely a blast from the past. Ren and Stimpy?
Yeah.
Did you watch Ren and Stimpy?
I saw some of that as a kid, but not a lot.
That was huge. I used to get Ren and Stimpy comics and everything. Bane becoming a giant and he goes around naked humping buildings. What? See, like it's pretty chaotic.
I'm surprised like they let them do that with the Batman license.
Well, yeah, it's interesting because in Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy hooks up with Kite Man, and that's like a big part of the storyline. In not
Kite
a big
Man?
part, but it's, yeah, and they're supposed to get married and stuff, and then stuff happens.
They went like super obscure with that villain.
Kite Man is like Kite Man's awesome in it. Like he's so good.
Really?
Yeah, he's really funny. Like he's worth the price of admission alone in that show. But yeah, I don't know why I haven't just it's on the same streaming service as what Spawn's on, so I should really
yeah, I think over here it's HBO. Well, they changed it to Max, but
yeah, DC can't do nudity. That's definitely a thing. As soon as they do nudity, it gets recalled the next day, like the Bat Dong.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember like when that took off, man, huge controversy, and then the book went skyrocketed.
That was my first key that I bought off the shelf, mate. I think. That's how I met Mark. The first time I shopped at Big City was so on my days off back in the day when I first started collecting comics, I would just go to a comic shop, and I used to go to different comic shops all the time. And that day where Batman Damned came out, I really wanted it because I read about Black Label and was saying how it was going to be like an adult line of comics and stuff.
Yeah.
So that sounds cool because that's what I want, right? And then I think I mentioned to you before, back in the day, back when comic books used to come out on Wednesdays, like the shops here wouldn't put the new releases on shelf until like 4 p.m. I think it was to line up with you guys hitting midnight, so we technically would release them on the same day rather than getting it early. I don't know if that's a rule or not, but that's what shops did. And the thing is, all the shops, there's no shops near me. They're all in the city, or they're all in areas where you don't want to be out there at 4 p.m. because it's going to take you 2 hours to get home because of traffic, right? So that morning that Batman Damned came out, I Googled comic shops, which I did like every week. I just Googled comic shops and just look at all these local comic shops and go to one, right? Sometimes if I went to the city, I'd go to like 3 or 4 in one day. So this one day, like every week, I Google comic shop and the same list would come up, right? For some reason, on this one day that Batman Damned came out, Big City Comics came up, and I was like, at the time, he was in the old shop, his first shop, which was in a place called Fitzroy, which is actually the closest store to me. And I was like, how have I never heard of this shop, which is in Fitzroy? Like, I go to Fitzroy all the time. It was really bizarre that this shop had never popped up. So I called the store to ask if they actually put the new releases on shelf as soon as they open. And I called, they hadn't even opened yet. And Mark, surprisingly, picked up his phone before the shop opened, and I was like, "Hey, mate, just wondering if you put your new releases on shelf when you open." He's like, "Yeah, mate, 12 o'clock." As soon as I opened, it's like, "Oh, cool." So I drove down there, and that was the first time I met Mark. And back in the day, because he was the only person to put new releases on the shelf in the morning, he had like a slew of nerds just like hanging out the front. So he had like a lot of regulars. And I think his old shop did better in that sense because it's a much more accessible area. His current shop's very out of the way. It's only, there's a few loyal customers he's kept that drive all the way out there, but it's pretty far away. But yeah, he used to have a gang of people go like just waiting in the morning for him to open so they could pick up their new releases from him. And Batman Damn was just on the shelf, a whole bunch of them. And I looked at it, and you know how it's like a magazine size? I was like,
Yeah.
Why is it such a big book? I didn't know. I'd never seen a magazine size comic before. And a lot of the people, all those people who went to pick up the new releases, they were looking at it, and a lot of them left it because they didn't like the fact that it was a magazine size.
Yeah.
So I was like looking at it like, well, I guess I'll buy it because I've been so excited for this title. And it was the first time I ever bought both covers. Because back then I was like, why would you buy more than one cover? You want to just read, you're just going to read it. So I actually bought one of each cover because I was like, I've been waiting for this title for so long. I'm just going to buy both covers. And then like,
that was a smart move.
And the funny thing was, I wasn't going to read it that day. My intention was to read all 3 issues once they came out, right?
Yeah.
And for some reason later that day, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to read it. So I read it, and I saw the Bat Dong, and I was like, oh my God. So I sent it, took a photo of it and sent it to my mate Tony. And Tony's like, what the hell? So he went and read it, and he reads digitally. So he read it digitally, and he was like, that was not in the digital version. So from day one,
it already censored it.
Day one, yeah, they'd already sent. They didn't have it in the digital; it was only available in physical, which was another good reason to pick up physical. And then the next day, he said to me, "Hey, man, have you heard about that comic?" I was like, "No." He's like, "It's gone viral. Like it's supposed to be getting recalled." And then I was like, "What?" And then the following day, they were all pulled off shelf.
Oh yeah.
And, well, no one really pulled it off shelf. Everyone would have just like been flipping them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love my Batman Damn story. I love that book. I want to get it slabbed.
Is that still like a super expensive book, or is it cooled off?
Nah, it's gone down massively. You know, because
I know when they did a second print, I think, and that was censored.
Yeah. No. So it wasn't this reprint. They did in the trade.
Oh,
so
okay.
when they released it as a complete, I think they censored it. But yeah, I just thought of a funny thing. How funny would it be if I got that signed by? So you could get it signed by a number of people, either Brian Azzarello, who wrote it, Lee Bermeo, who did the art, or Jim Lee, because he did the variant, right?
Oh,
Imagine
yeah.
I got one of those guys to sign it and be like, "Hey, can you do a remark and draw a big penis on it?"
That would be wild, man. That book would be going like huge on eBay if you decided to flip it.
Get Jim Lee to draw like a really sick Jim Lee dong.
Yo, what's up, Comic Foo? What's going on, man?
We are talking everything but childhood stuff here.
Yeah.
This is all adult stuff today.
It somehow got into comics and Batman parts.
Yeah. Well, apparently there's a comic where Spider-Man you see some Spidey dong.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a thing too. I don't know where I heard it, but yeah, there's like a bit where he's just like, I think there's a panel where he's just like.
You sure you just didn't Google the wrong movie?
I'm pretty sure that's a thing too. But yeah, all right. Let's. What did I tune to? I know, right? I know. Well, let's maybe go a little bit on topic for a second and talk some childhood cartoons. They're doing a new Transformers comic book. I don't know if you know about that. So
no, I hadn't heard about
that. Image are picking it up. So they're going to be doing a whole universe that is Transformers, G.I. Joe, I think, as well. And maybe something else.
That should be pretty cool. What's up,
It is
Gore?
it is stupid that DC censored it because it's just like, mate, this is how immature the world still is that
Yeah.
you can't show
And I
it.
mean,
Like,
it was a black label book too, so it was already supposed to be
yes,
like what,
and
17, 18 plus.
that whole
Yeah.
incident ruined the whole Black Label thing. Like,
Yeah.
so, and I don't know if this is true, but I remember at the time reading, I did a video on it actually, and back then I was a lot more animated in my old videos, but apparently in issue 2 there was supposed to be a shower scene with Harley Quinn, which would have been weird because she's all scarred up in the Batman Dam.
Yeah.
But I remember I did a video and I was like, apparently there's supposed to be a shower scene with Harley Quinn, and there's no shower scene with Harley Quinn because everyone ruined it from the Bat Dong.
I actually have issue 2.
I love that cover. See, here's the thing, right? So I want to get Batman Damned slabbed, but I would feel weird about having that book slabbed and then I've just got issue 2 and 3 sitting there unslabbed. So I almost want to get all 3 slabbed just for the sake of it. But people tell me that's a dumb idea, which I'm sure it is. But yeah, Transformers.
I never did read it because I only have issue 2. I want it in like a giveaway.
There was back when they were came out, there was a lot of 10s because it's a square bound premium format.
I heard it was easier to get a 10.
Yeah, so I wouldn't mind setting it up, see if I can get a 10, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so Image are doing a comic book that's got Transformers and G.I. Joe. Was there something else? Someone mentioned that maybe Mask is getting involved, like the old animated series Mask.
Man, that would be cool. That's a throwback. That was a fun show.
I haven't seen the new Transformers movie, but I've heard a few things where basically at the end, I feel like it ties in, that something happens where it ties into that universe, I think. Kind of like how at the end of Iron Man or whatever movie it was where buddy what's his face? Nick Fury comes in and ties everything together. I feel like Transformers has
one big universe.
Yeah, at the end of the movie, which is meant to be mind blowing. So
I'm about to check that out. I haven't seen any of the Transformers movies since like the very first one.
Yeah. Oh, I saw the first 3. I really enjoyed the first one actually. I thought it was good, and then the second and third one not so much. But yeah. Yeah, Black Label, man. I was so excited about Black Label. And then it got to a point where they just started sticking Black Label on like old titles. Like they'd reprint like The Killing Joke and call it Black Label. And I was like, what is this? This is not what you guys said it was going to be. And that is the problem. Oh, okay. Yeah. Mask is one of those ones. I used to love Mask, but I just cannot remember anything about it.
I can't either, man.
I used to love.
I had like 1 or 2 of the toys, and
I had a bunch of them.
I think they did like a short comic book run too. It's just like a mini series, maybe. I can't remember if it was ongoing or not.
Well, all those old animated stuff. It's just so weird. Like, I just don't have the memory to remember what any of them were really about. Like Transformers, I probably remember the most of.
Yeah.
Like I remember the animated movie. Obviously, it's still to this day is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah,
but I actually remember
awesome.
I actually remember, and I could be wrong. So if there's any hardcore Transformers fans watching, correct me if I'm wrong. But I have a memory of after the movie came out, they used to play the Transformers cartoon in the morning. So I'd watch it before school, right? And there was like a storyline where there was some virus going around infecting all the Transformers, like Autobots and Decepticons. And it would turn them bad. So even if a Decepticon got it, they would turn bad. Like, I guess, you know what I mean? Like, they're still getting bad.
Yeah.
Like, even badder, whatever. And the Autobots couldn't figure out a way how to battle this. So they reassembled Optimus Prime, because Optimus Prime died in the movie. So I do remember that, because it seemed very epic. Am I right? All right. My memory ain't that bad. But yeah, that was a memory I have of at least. So Transformers, I feel like I remember some of. There's a little bit of Ninja Turtle stuff that I would remember, I think. But things that and I loved all of these cartoon titles: Thundercats, He-Man, Mask, Machine Men. I don't remember any of that stuff anymore. Like I just don't remember what happened in those shows.
I don't remember. I don't remember Machine Man.
So they were called the Go Bots. I didn't know this until recently. I think they were called the Go Bots. But the show was called Machine Men. Like I used to have heaps of Machine Men figurines. The virus is right, but Prime was found in the space shuttle, if I remember right. But didn't they revived him, I think, during that story, because even Rodimus Prime got infected by the virus. So they're like, oh, I guess he was their leader at the time. So they put Prime, they revived Prime, I think, to battle the whole thing. But then I stopped. I wasn't able to see anything after that. Battle of the Planets ruined my enjoyment of G.I. Joe. Why did that ruin your enjoyment of G.I. Joe? They're two completely different things, aren't they? He-Man and Transformers kind of... Oh, okay, of all of them. As in it was better. I don't remember Battle of the Planet. I think I did probably watch some of it, but I don't really remember. Did you watch Thundercats?
Yeah, I was a big Thundercats fan back in the day.
Thundercats
I remember wanting the sword so bad, and I never could get one.
I had it, and like the logo lit up. You had a button that you press, and the logo would light up on it. I had that. I had like the Lionel figure and all that, but yeah, just couldn't tell you what it was about. I feel like I have one memory. I think it was Thundercats where there was like some character. It was like a female character, and she looked like her outfit looked like she was a police officer almost. I feel like it was Thundercats, even though
it's like the only thing I can really remember. It seems like they were younger or something, and they had to get in like these stasis pods or something that kept them asleep for so many years. I think.
Is that part of like their origin story?
Yeah, I think that was like the origin story. It seems like I remember them having to go in like stasis pods and be put to sleep or something, and they woke up in the future. And they were like already grown and older, but they went into it when they were kids.
Like I couldn't tell you anything about He-Man anymore, and I loved He-Man. Like I could tell you stuff about the movie with Dolph Lundgren because I've watched that many times. But, I can't remember the cartoon at all. It's crazy. Which I'm glad, because I'm glad I don't collect He-Man stuff because
oh yeah, another collecting rabbit hole.
I know, because I just started getting into all my vintage stuff, but I'm trying to stay more focused.
Yeah, I remember they had a ton of He-Man figures back in the day.
Yeah. I had a lot of them. It's crazy to think how many toys I had back in the day. Like when you start, like, because now that I go toy hunting and stuff, and I see all the vintage figures, I was like, holy crap, I had this. And there's some stuff that you completely forget about. Yeah. Like there's a toy channel I watched called Scott Crusher. There's a bunch of Aussie channels that do toys, and this dude called Scott Crusher, he goes toy hunting, and he found this thing called Ring Raiders. So Ring Raiders were like these little toy, they're like jets kind of, but they would be attached to a ring so you could wear it on your finger. So you could kind of like, fly the jet around while it's attached to your finger. And I completely forgot about them until I saw him on his video. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's how... So when I was into comic books when I was a kid, I had a lot of X-Men, and it was because the X-Men animated series was so good.
Yeah. That's what got me into the X-Men comics too, the animated series.
The only thing was with the TMNT stuff, at the time, most of the Ninja Turtles books I was getting were the ones when they were on Archie, which a little bit more similar to the cartoon as opposed to the original.
Yeah.
I did have... I think my parents bought me it must have been like a trade, like graphic novel Ninja Turtles thing. Because I remember there was this one Turtles book I had, which was different than everything else. They didn't have the colored mask. They were all it was black and white for starters. So there's no color.
Oh, yeah.
But they all just had the one color mask. And I remember the story was like, they were in some building and like the army were trying to get after him or something like that. That's all I really remember. I remember being really intense because I was a kid and it was just so much more of a sort of full-on story than all the other Archie Ninja Turtle stuff I was reading.
I've never read it, but I've heard that the when they first started, it was like real violent and not, and it was the '80s cartoon that made them kind of goofier. But
Was
yeah, I was
Michelangelo
a
not a
huge
party
fan of the '80s Ninja Turtles cartoon and
boy?
the '90s movies. But for some reason, I just never collected Turtles comics as a kid.
I was trying to think, because we were at a comic shop the other day, and Sarah wanted to buy a Ninja Turtles trade for. She's got a friend who's gotten into Ninja Turtles, and she wanted to read Ninja Turtle comics. And I couldn't think of what the original Ninja Turtles books were on. Mirage. There you go. So, which is where the Last Ronin ties into. Okay, I didn't finish reading.
That's one. Yeah, I want to read that. I've seen the trades around, but I haven't picked it up yet. I've heard it was really good.
I really, I think a lot of people criticize the first issue was really good. I didn't mind it. I think I read the first two, maybe even. Well, no, I feel like I only read the first, maybe 3 issues. Anyway, at least 2 issues I read. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, the first issue was good," and then just became crap after that. But
Oh, really?
I don't know. But they were like hardcore Ninja Turtle fans.
I know there's a rumor there's going to be a video game based on the Last Ronin with the Turtles.
Man, there's like a fan-made short film. I don't know if it's a short film or a trailer, but it's just fan-made. But I couldn't believe how good it was. I was like, man, how do people just make fan-made stuff and like they have like professional-looking movie quality stuff? What's going on, Chop?
What's up, Chop?
Yeah. So X-Men 90s and the Spider-Man 90s animated show was amazing. So I think so most of my cartoon watching was before school. And I had the Spider-Man animated series, and it was the Spider-Man animated series was one of the best things I've ever seen as a kid.
Yeah.
And then when that finished, because that didn't have that many episodes, when that finished, I think X-Men started. I was like, holy crap, X-Men is so good. But that only went to a certain point, and then I think it either changed time slots or something, but I was only able to watch up to where Sinister came into the storyline.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like. And then I don't know if it changed time slots, but I stopped being able to watch the cartoon after that. I never got to watch animated Batman, though.
I remember hearing in the final season, the show like lost a lot of budget or something, and they hired different animators, and the characters looked different in the final season, and it wasn't as good.
How many seasons were there?
I want to say 5 seasons.
That's a lot.
But I heard the last season really went down the toilet because of the cheaper animations.
Yeah, so Batman animated series used to be on after school, but it'd be on at like 3:30, which is what time you finish school. So you wouldn't be able to get. I don't understand how people watched it because I'd never get home in time. So I used to sometimes get home and I'd just catch the end of it, but it was just something I never really had the chance to watch. So I never really got into the Batman. Actually, my friends did though. Pretty sure we were a little bit older then as well. Because I had a friend who was really into Batman back in the day. When I was like, what? Batman? I'm too old for that now.
I think the Batman series started in '92, so I would have been 12 when it started.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
They must have been doing reruns later on then, because I'm pretty sure my mate was really into. Actually, no, because they ended up doing was there Batman Beyond animated?
Yeah, that came later on.
That was what my mate would have been talking about.
I want to say maybe 96, 97 when Batman Beyond came out.
Oh wow, this Michael, was it Zully? His Ninja Turtle art is pretty full on. Have you seen? I haven't even seen those new those Michael Bay Ninja Turtle movies.
I saw the first one. I can't remember. I don't think I've seen the second one.
Was it good?
Yeah, not really. It wasn't for me.
Because they're giant in it, aren't they?
Yeah, they're pretty big and kind of weird looking compared to like the 90s stuff. But I, grew up in the 80s, 90s, and that's just like that's my favorite thing for everything. So the Michael Bay version wasn't for me, but I can't say it was like terrible or anything. It was okay.
You see, I'm like comic food. So Batman animated. I don't think I was. I feel like I just didn't get home in time to watch it. It was just in a crap time slot. But I don't know why I never thought of, and probably because I never got to see it properly. Because back in the day, if there was something I really wanted to watch, you could time record it,
Oh yeah,
on a VCR.
yeah,
But yeah, Batman was just. I've got all the Batman ones now, but I just never got around. I started watching it. I watched like first 2 episodes. And I was like, this is not doing it for me. But I really want to actually watch the important episodes of Batman animated, like the Harley Quinn one and the Mr. Freeze one.
oh yeah. I think it was a separate movie. I can't remember if he was ever on the show, but they did the separate movie with Mask of the Phantasm. That was awesome.
That I've seen. That I watched when I first got into all this crap, and I was like, I should probably watch that. I remember it being a big deal. So yeah, I did watch that, and it was okay. I don't know why everyone goes on about it so much, but it was okay. Because I don't really watch enough of the DC animated stuff, to be honest, and I know they were really good. But like, I actually started out before I read the comics. I watched the Killing Joke animated movie.
I haven't seen the movie version yet, but I've read the comic.
It's good, but so again, this is before I knew anything about comics. I was starting to get interested. I saw the Joker Killing Joke movie there. I was like, oh, I think Joker's pretty cool. I'm going to watch this. So I watched it, and at the start, I'm sure you know about this, but they've added an extra part that's not in the book. I didn't know.
Yeah, I saw the clips on YouTube of people tripping out about it.
Yeah, so Batman bangs Batgirl, right? So I'm sitting there watching this, and I was like, as a noob, as a complete noob, I'm talking like complete noob. I don't know anything about Batman anymore. And I was like, hang on a sec. Batman bangs Batgirl. I was like, is that a thing? I was like, I didn't know that was a thing. And then I watched the movie. I was like, yeah, that was pretty decent. And then I watched the special features, like the making of the movie. And they basically mentioned, the movie was too short when we just adapted the comic book, so we thought we'd add like an extra 15-minute scene at the start. I was like, hang on a sec. You just added the fact that Batman bangs his friend's daughter?
I think Nightwing probably would have had an issue with that.
Yeah, had a falling out.
Yeah. Did you ever watch the Red Hood animated movie?
Under the Red Hood? I watched that because everyone says that the animated movie for Red Hood is better than the book. So yes, I did watch that.
I kind of like the book better, but the movie was good.
The book has a lot of. So I was listening to a review once, and I agree with this because I obviously eventually read the book. That the animated Red Hood, Under the Red Hood, cuts out all the unneeded stuff. Because the book has a lot. Like
they would have to really for the movies because it would just make it far too long.
Yeah, I have a memory of Dragon Ball of when I was really young. I used to one of my best friends. I used to go there on the weekends all the time, and one time they were going to their cousin's house. So I went with them to their cousin's house, and their cousins had all this cool stuff. Their cousins just had everything. And then they put on Dragon Ball, and we're like, what's this? They're like, it's Dragon Ball. It's cool. I'm like, all right. So we watched it, and I thought it was really cool. But that was the only time I ever watched any Dragon Ball.
I didn't know about Dragon Ball Z until I was probably my mid-20s. They just started showing reruns of it on TV, and I would just like watch it like 25 years old, 26, just watching Dragon Ball Z and loving it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think it used to be on TV when I was a little bit older, and by then I was just too cool for school, so I didn't know.
I've been watching cartoons since I was like born. I never stopped.
Yeah, so even once I became like an older teenager, I kind of got over a lot of that stuff, but a lot of my friends were into it. So a lot of my friends were into manga, and a lot of times I'd just be forced to watch it. I remember going to like a manga movie marathon and we watched Wicked City, Ghost in the Shell, and something else, but I left before the last one. What's going on, Brian?
Yo, what's up, Brian?
But I think I could appreciate. I mean, I appreciate all this stuff a lot more now because I'm kind of just into the nerd thing. So, but the mangas these days, I don't know. Even back then, like '90s manga had a very certain feel to it. Like, have you ever watched Legend of the Overfiend?
Nah. The only I guess anime style shows I watched was Dragon Ball and like My Hero Academia, but that was like just a couple years ago. I never really watched it. I remember shows like Sailor Moon, but I don't think I ever watched a single episode of it.
Yeah, Beast Wars Gore is like the animal Transformers. Yeah, so you'd like the new Transformers movie because
I mean I liked the Beast Wars cartoon growing up. So
I didn't like two things. I didn't like the animation from it, and I didn't like the concept either. I didn't like my Transformers all of a sudden being animals. It's like, what? That doesn't make sense. My brother obviously loved it. He collected all the Beast Wars toys. But when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then there's Unicron in the new movie. I was like, that's really interesting. So I have to wait for it to come out on streaming, but I do want to see the new Transformers.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah, because I never saw Bumblebee either, and I actually wanted to because Bumblebee looked cool. And Bumblebee, when I saw the trailers and everything, I was like, oh, the Transformers actually look like the way they're supposed to look now. So Bumblebee is the Volkswagen, and in the most recent one, Optimus Prime looks like Optimus Prime. Like, I know everyone had a problem in the Michael Bay movies where he changed the way they look, but I accepted that. It was just like, I get it. You can't, especially when you're reintroducing Transformers again to a new audience. Yes, that's why I used to rewatch it all the time. I understood at the time Transformers was already like, it wasn't popular anymore. So that Michael Bay movie kind of reintroduced it back to the mainstream, and I understood that you can't have a Volkswagen be cool. Like, if you're trying to make these things, like, it's cool for us who watched the cartoon back in the day, but and they even have a nod to it where he's at the petrol station and the door like swings open and knocks the Volkswagen out of the way. But I understood that if you made the car cooler, then people are going to think it's cooler as well. So, but man, that first Transformers movie I thought was really, really good. You know why? Because they used the Terminator formula. So they have good robot, bad robot, and a human that they're both trying to get after. That's what Transformers 1 was about. So it worked. And yes, Megan Fox was in it. What's going on, Sean?
What's up, Sean?
Chicago. So you went from, you must be stopping in Chicago on the way back from Canada, right?
Oh, you went to Canada too?
Yeah, so you went to the convention in Canada. So yeah, we got an Aussie on your side of the world. So if anyone wants to meet a real Australian, I'm on my way home. Okay, so you must be stop off in Chicago. What were we? Yeah, the manga stuff. So but you never watched any like classic manga movies back in the day, like Ghost in the Shell, Neon Genesis, any of that?
I remember. I think there was like an Eon Flux cartoon on MTV or something, or a movie, an animated movie or something like that. I vaguely remember.
I didn't know that was an MTV anime.
It might. I don't know. It might not have been MTV. I just like have vague memories of. I don't even remember what it was about.
Captain Harlock. That's another one. I've seen that in comic books, but I haven't seen the anime. Mate, you should see, like, the popular one at the moment is Chainsaw Man. So Sarah's really into reading Chainsaw Man, and then the animated movie show came out. So I watched some Chainsaw Man, and it's pretty full on, man. Like,
really?
He's like a demon. So they're like demons, right? Or something. he's got like this pull chain on his chest, and he pulls it, and then like a fucking chainsaw comes out of his head.
Wasn't there somebody like cosplaying that in one of your con videos?
Yeah. And he's got a pet dog, which is also like a chainsaw, has a chainsaw coming out its head. It's pretty full on. So anime is definitely like, I'm actually surprised it's so popular. Vampire D, Vampire Hunter D, isn't it called? I remember those back in the day. But all my friends used to like force me to watch some of that stuff. The Street Fighter anime movie back in the day was really good. I don't know if you ever saw that.
I didn't know they did a Street Fighter animated. I just remember the movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
There was an animated Street Fighter movie, and it was awesome. There was a shower scene with Chun-Li. Russ going to download it after the show now. Yeah, I watched Voltron. Demon Slayer is one. So what I'm thinking about doing, I'm thinking about becoming anime guy and watching like maybe the first season of some of these really popular ones, like Demon Slayer. Like Demon Slayer is super popular. But I'm thinking about, and then I can maybe do a video series and then get in with the anime crowd. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm trying to put my foot in every single,
Yeah. I've had a couple people like recommend One Punch Man to me. They said that's really good.
Yeah. One Punch Man, I feel like has Dragon Ball Z vibes. Yeah. What other big anime ones are there? Like there's some that are too long. Like my mate used to always try to get me to watch Naruto, and I was like, mate, he's there's only like 3,000 episodes. Like, no thanks.
I never saw that. I did see some Pokemon growing up when I used to babysit my nieces.
Yeah, Pokemon I was definitely too old for. Well, so Sarah read One Piece, but she couldn't. So Sarah can't watch anything that's pre-2015 is like old to her, and she can't. She's like she can't do old anime. She says so. There's a series that I really like called School Rumble, and I thought it's right up Sarah's alley because it's like a little kiddie, like high school stuff, like high school romances and stuff. And I really like the show because some of the characters are really funny. And she just said, "No, I can't watch it. It's like that old anime style." I was like, "What?" It's like it is kind of like maybe 15 years old now, but
but
it's not that old to me.
Yeah, like me, man. I still talk about the 90s like it's new.
That
was like my favorite era for just about everything.
I remember things from like my late teens to my early 20s so much clearer than I remember 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
It's like I don't remember what I did yesterday, but I remember an episode of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from like 1987.
There's a One Piece live action as well. So back in the day, I remember I definitely got to a point where I just wasn't into cartoons. I'd rather watch the live action. Like people were really into that Neon Genesis stuff. And I always used to tell people, you know what? I'm not into animes where they jump into big giant robot suits. But if you show me a live action movie with that, I'll watch it. But I never saw Pacific Rim.
I never saw that either.
All right, see you, Sean. Safe flight, mate. We'll see you soon.
Take it easy, Sean.
I used to always prefer the live action. So if there was like something that was an anime and then they released a live action, I was like, yeah, I'll watch that. Like the Dragon Ball.
Yeah, I remember when they did the live action Ninja Turtles movie in the 90s. That blew me away, man. I love that. And then Secret of the Ooze was pretty good, and then the third one was just, I don't know, man. The third one wasn't it.
I remember seeing that. I was a little bit older. Like by then, I was also, I think I was a little bit over Ninja Turtles by the time the third movie came. We saw it anyway, but it was definitely different than the other ones.
Oh yeah, like all the music that I listen to is still all from the 90s, man. Maybe just a little in the early 2000s, but like every time, like my playlist for when I work out, all 90s. I couldn't even like probably tell you 10 musical artists today, I couldn't name 10.
I'm dying to see the new Ninja Turtles movie though. It looks really cool.
Oh yeah, I've heard that was really good.
It's not out over here yet. You guys got it like a month before us. It was really
Really?
weird.
I
Yeah,
haven't
it's not
seen
out
it
here
yet, but of course I'm behind on everything. But I've heard several people say it was really good, and like little mini reviews on Instagram.
I just the whole Jackie Chan casting for Splinter though, just because we're so used to that old '90s Splinter
Yeah.
wise voice. It's gonna be
But I
fun.
mean, I don't know. I love Jackie Chan, so I'll probably dig it.
Yeah, you still haven't seen anything. Like,
No, I'm so far behind, man.
I don't watch any of this stuff anymore. Like, I'm really enjoying Ahsoka at the moment.
Yeah, I've heard that was good, man. I need to.
Because I obviously watch Rebel. I feel like I get people who don't like it or don't have the same excitement for it. Because if you
Yeah,
didn't
I mean, I
watch
saw
Rebel,
the cameo that she did in Mandalorian, and I dug that. So the it's got to be good.
well, a lot of
I
people
like
actually
her. What is it? Rosario Dawson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sarah doesn't like her casting for.
Really?
Yeah, Sarah's like, because Sarah knows Ahsoka more from the Clone Wars animated.
Yeah.
Movie.
I never got to never saw the animated stuff.
So like she just thinks that she's like, oh, Rosario's face isn't soft enough. Like it's like but I was like, she's used to like young Ahsoka. So I think Rosario is a good pick. The only thing is Rosario is getting a little bit old now. So that's the
I know
thing.
she did like almost, I think she was in like every Marvel Netflix show as what was her name? Yeah, she played a nurse in the Daredevil Netflix show, and then she like crossed over into the other Netflix shows. Claire, I think was her name on the.
Oh shit! Yeah, I remember because I only watched a little bit of Daredevil. Shit, I do remember that. Yeah. She's been around for ages though, man. Clerks and all that. Like Clerks 2. Yeah. So I never watched Rebels with the actress who plays Sabina. Rebels is great. So I couldn't do Clone Wars. I don't know why. It was just there was a lot of Clone Wars has a lot of the politics side of Star Wars that I just don't care about. Rebels doesn't have that. Rebels is just about a group of rebels who just go on adventures, and yeah, it was really fun. So I actually went and watched. So there's 4 seasons of Rebels. I was like halfway through season 3, and then Ahsoka was about to drop, so I wasn't ready for it. And my mate suggested to me to watch the last 6 episodes of season 4, so I did that, and I'm glad I did. Because if I didn't do that, again, I might not have the attachment or the understanding of what's going on with the Ahsoka.
Yeah.
So they don't really explain it. Like, they don't give you a breakdown. They just say, oh, Ezra's missing. And, if you didn't watch Rebels, you'd be like, who's Ezra? So, yeah, but it is good.
I might have to check it out sometime if I can catch it somewhere for free.
Oh, you don't like Jedi? Cool. Wow, okay. So it's funny. Everyone keeps giving me crap because obviously I say I'm the Star Wars guy. It's just a joke, guys. Calm down. I haven't even seen Phantom Menace. And I've only seen I've seen Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, and I've only seen them once, and I don't think I'll ever watch them again because it was just like whatever. And the reason I haven't gone back and watched Phantom Menace is because that was the movie that made me not care about Star Wars. Like, I loved the original trilogy growing up, and then when the Phantom Menace came out, I was excited, but then 15 minutes into it, I realized I don't care about these characters. I care about Luke and Han and, you know, the characters from the original trilogy. So,
yeah, it's funny. Growing up, I never got into Star Wars. I didn't even see a movie until probably about a year after Rogue One came out. I finally saw it.
oh, wow.
And
Okay.
yeah, so I don't even know what year that was.
I'm
But
saving
that movie made me go back and watch the other Star Wars movies.
Oh, really? Well, that's kind of
Yeah.
good because that leads you straight into A New Hope. So,
Yeah.
um,
I never did watch the third one of the newest trilogy. I haven't seen that, and I didn't get to see the Solo series.
the Solo movie wasn't bad, actually. I didn't mind Solo. But I thought the Force Awakens was so. Again, I wasn't a Star Wars guy. I liked the original trilogy. Phantom Menace came out, and I said, you know what? I don't care about these guys. And then Force Awakens, the new trilogy came out, and when Force Awakens came out, everyone was like, "Oh, Luke Skywalker's going to be in it." I was like, "Oh, really?" I'll watch Force Awakens because Luke Skywalker's going to be in it.
Yeah.
And then I sat through an entire movie just for him to show up for 2 seconds at the end before the credits start rolling. But I thought Force Awakens was actually really good. Like, I'll watch that movie,
Yeah.
Again, many times. But the original, I don't know. I'm saving Phantom Menace so I can do my watching Phantom Menace for the first time. I'm gonna do
That'll
that.
be good, man. Reaction video. So have you seen any of the prequel movies, or?
Yeah, just the I've seen 2 and 3. I just didn't. So Sarah
Okay.
randomly put Attack of the Clones on one night because she's watched them all, obviously. So I watched Attack of the Clones, and then because we watched that, we went straight into Revenge of the Sith. But I just never went back and did Phantom Menace.
Yeah, I really like the Darth Maul character, and when I was like first watching those movies, I thought he's a great villain for a trilogy, and then they just killed him off in that first one. Like, man, come on.
But is he dead? Like all Star Wars characters, are they dead? Do you see?
I mean, I
like,
heard they brought him back for the animated stuff.
well, yeah, but that stuff set probably before. Oh no,
No, it was set after because I
that's right.
remember in
No,
the
you're
clip
right.
I saw,
You're right. Yeah.
he was
He shows
fighting an
Re-
older
Yes,
Obi-Wan.
he's in Rebels. He's in Rebels. So no, he's not there. He's in Rebels. I forgot. That's where I kind of know more from. Because again, I haven't seen the movie, but I know more from the animated stuff. Yeah, Harrison. Yeah, like the Han Solo film was still fun though. I think had some stupid things in it, but I didn't mind it. But yeah, we're nearly at the hour, mate. We did it.
Yeah.
And we might have talked about childhood cartoons for about a whole 5 minutes, but it's all good. It's good.
Yeah, don't expect. I at this point, I don't think people expect to hear the actual topic when they come hang out.
Yeah, especially when you were calling episodes the episode you must see, and then they come
Yeah.
on and they're like, we don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, just completely winging it.
Do you want to wrap it up, mate? What do you got? You got anything coming out?
Yeah, man. I started a new series where I talk to a different member of the comic book community every week called Let's Talk Comics. The first episode was Monday. It was me talking with Comic Fury, Jeremy from the STS guys. Next week's episode is going to be Larry from the STS guys. And then I have the third episode scheduled that'll be, I think, September 18th, and that's going to be with JoJo from Flicks and Comics.
Oh, cool. It's cool.
So the new series is off to a good start. I've got people booked up for a little while, so that should be a weekly show coming up.
Nice. And they're live, right? You're not. Oh yeah, of course they're live.
Yeah, so it's live. Yeah.
Some people do pre-records, but you got to pay for that stuff.
Yeah, I got the free version of StreamYard over here. No pay up or nothing.
Everyone keeps giving me crap. They're like, stop being a tight ass. I was like, man, I stream like once a month, if that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I get, it's like I don't even have TV show streaming services. I'm not paying for Netflix StreamYard.
the free versions opened up a lot more features as well. So now you can add like the little branding stuff, and it's actually not bad. It's just the 720p which sucks.
Yeah.
But
yeah, okay. Yeah, that's not for me. So what you got coming up, man?
I was about to swear. I got an amazing AOK from a random viewer of the channel who hit me up, and he was like, "Hey, I would like to send you an action figure that would make your brother jealous." Ooh, and I was like,
Oh,
"Whoa."
nice.
You know, I feel a lot of people offer sometimes to send me stuff, and I just say, "Hey, don't." I was like, "Look, it's expensive. You don't have to." Right. Because I always feel weird, because especially with someone I don't know. But I was like, "All right, you got me curious." Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, he sent me something which was absolutely like, whoa! I couldn't believe it. So yeah, that video is probably going to drop tomorrow, and then I'll probably have a few more toy unboxings. And then yeah, I'm out of content, to be honest. So I need to start. I've got a lot of videos I want to make. I just need to actually get off my ass and make them. So yes, but
Yeah,
yeah,
man, when you gonna bust the Red Hood back out, man?
I know, man. I don't know. I know. I need to write a script, because I also want to start losing weight, but I don't want to start losing weight until I film Red Hood at his absolute fattest.
Yeah.
I need that shot first.
You go have to get some more custard pies from McDonald's, man.
Yeah, I know. All right. Well, thanks everyone for hanging out. Had a fun one today. I've got an awesome topic for the next episode as well.
Okay.
I'll tell you off air, but I've got an awesome idea for an episode which could go crazy and could bring in some new people. So
All right. Sounds good, man. Catch you guys later. Keep it 9,000.